Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, Cerebral Stories. Today I have my mom and we are going to be talking about my story, the first part of my story. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell and
like us.
Hit
the like button.
Hit the like button, guys. And don't forget to go follow our Instagram at Cereal Barn Stories.
I'm not going to get this one. Anyway, is it my turn now?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. So, like Aubrie said, we are sharing her story today. It's what makes her unique and different in our family and unique and different around everyone. So part of the reason why we started our YouTube channel was to share Aubrey's story with our friends and family who've probably forgotten a lot of the things that she's gone through, because our friends and family, many of them live so far away from us that they probably don't even remember some of the stuff that she's had to go through. And so, but also just share her experience, because there might be other people that are just now starting this journey or just need somebody to kind of learn from because of our experience. So we're just going to here to share her story and get out there, and also it's going to help us get ready for her next surgery, which is coming up hopefully this summer.
Yes.
She's scheduled to have jaw surgery this summer,
but it might not happen because of the corona.
Yeah, COVID-19 is kind of putting a slight kink in our scheduling here. Okay, Aubrie, what were you born with?
I was born with a unilateral cleft lip and palate.
Yes, so she was born with a hole that started on her left side, right underneath her nose, so her nose wasn't closed. Went down through her lip all the way through, and then up into her hard palate and her soft palate. So this is what she looked like when she was born. Just like any other baby, other than this hole that she was born with, because it just didn't come together as she was growing. So how many babies are born with a cleft lip and palate?
2,000.
2,000?
20,000. Gosh.
I went to Mayo's website and Mayo Clinic.
Mayo.
Yes.
Like Mayo.
Mayo. Mayo's Clinic online, and they have it as 20,000 U.S. cases a year. And I don't know if that's just cleft lip and palate, or cleft palate, or if it's a combination of all of them. I didn't look into specifics, but regardless, they're pretty rare to have. So with that, what was your biggest challenge with your cleft?
Eating.
Yep. Eating was the hardest thing for her to do, because she couldn't get any grasp for suction because she had that hole. So the nurses at the hospital she was born at did the best they could. The hospital we were at was from wasn't really equipped for a baby.
Prepared for that.
A baby with this. So the nurses worked with us, and they gave her some high calorie formula, and also just took a bottle nipple and cut the opening bigger for her to eat, which it wasn't always the best thing because it kind of would drown her.
Basically gagging on milk.
Yeah, it kind of would come out really fast, so it was a little bit of a challenge. So when she was 9 days old, she met her cleft palate craniofacial team for the first time, and we worked specifically with the nurse at this appointment to find a feeding system that would work for her. And luckily for us, the first one we tried
was the pigeon nipple, and it worked perfectly.
It worked well. It really did. So the pigeon nipple is just a nipple that's a little bit bigger than a regular bottle nipple. But on the bottom side of the nipple, there was a plastic valve that attached inside the nipple. So you would screw it on with the lid and everything, and then there would be this plastic piece. And so the way it worked is as she would bite down on the nipple, the valve would open and milk would start to pull in, and she'd let up, the milk would fill the nipple. And then when she would bite again, then it would squeeze it and push it into her mouth. So it was a much easier feeding system.
And
it was slower.
Gagging on milk.
And she wasn't gagging anymore, which was good. The pigeon nipple, at the time she was born, I don't know if it still is, but they were only made in Japan. And they were $5 a nipple. And they only lasted about a month. So they were kind of expensive. So we would have to buy a few of them at a time just to make sure we had some on hand for her. So she, that's how she would eat, was with this. We could attach it to any bottle, which was good, because the bottle that came with the kit was really hard plastic, and it was just a weird plastic. So we would put it on any bottle that the lid would fit on, and she was fine. So that really helped with her being able to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, meeting with her team and meeting with the surgeons and everything, one of the questions that always got asked was, is there a history of this in your family?
Nope, not at all.
And yeah, to our knowledge, there's no history of it on her dad's side or my side of our families. So the only thing the doctors could tell us was that they think it was either an infection or something in the environment that caused it. So they totally kind of ruled out the genetic aspect of it. So, but that was a question that was asked all the time. Her pediatrician, the surgeon, it's like anytime somebody met her, they're like, is this in your family? We're like, nope, not in our family. No. So that was definitely something we had to get used to. Is like, no, we don't know why she has it. That's just the way she was born. And that's okay, because that makes her who she is.
Yep.
Okay, that makes her her. After we got our feeding system in place, we got to meet the surgeon. And she was very good about explaining the process. And she's like, oh, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to fix her in 2 surgeries. We're going to have one surgery where we close the lip off. And then when she's about a year old, I should say, we'll fix that first surgery. The first surgery would be like in the first 3 months. And then when she's about a year old, we'll go in and we'll fix the palate. Okay, no problem. Waited to get a phone call to schedule surgery. Never got one. So I called, and come to find out, our surgeon didn't bother to tell us she was leaving the practice. And so kind of put us back a little bit. So we had to meet with another surgeon. And our second surgeon was phenomenal. So we met with Dr. Alex Kane, and he was pretty open with us and pretty honest with us. And he was like, yeah, hers is a unique cleft. It's one of the bigger ones that we've seen. But we can still fix it. And he goes, but instead of closing her lip in 2 surgery, instead of closing her lip in 1 surgery, we're going to have to close it in 2 surgeries. So that kind of made us go, oh, really? 2 surgeries? So we'd end up with 3 surgeries in 1 year? And he was like, yeah, I think that's going to be what's best. Because from the time that we met with the first surgeon and we got in with him, she had grown so much, and he was so concerned that if he brought everything together in 1 surgery, the tissues and the muscles and the nerves just wouldn't be right. It wouldn't look right, and it would scar more. And he was just very concerned about it. So he wanted to do what he felt was best. So we were like, okay, we're going to go in for 3 surgeries. Mm-hmm. But
I did get this bear that also has a cleft lip as well.
He has little stitches from his surgeries.
Yep.
She definitely is one that we learned very quickly that when they told us one thing,
the other thing happened.
Something else would happen. So moving on to surgery. We have a before picture of like what she looked like right the day going into surgery. So this was night before surgery 1. And she was 3 months old when this happened. So right on that key point, key timeline when they want to have it done. Early morning surgery, got up.
Wasn't it like at 6?
We had to be at the hospital at 6. After they took her away to go into surgery, it was about a 3-hour surgery. We got updates throughout the whole surgery process. Every half hour, a nurse from the OR would call us and tell us how things were going. She's doing well, she's stable, the doctor's doing this right now, that type of stuff we got every half hour. And then when the surgery was done, surgeon came out and talked to us directly. He's like, things went well, things were good, and we'll get to see her after she got out of the recovery. So I got to go back and see her while she was still in recovery and walk out with her. And she looked good. I mean, it was really different. It was something new. We hadn't seen this before, having her lip come together in what he called a lip adhesion surgery, because it wasn't a completely full lip surgery. So they called it a lip adhesion. This is what she looked like when we came out of surgery. So she looked good. I mean, we were like, but there was kind of a couple of mixed emotions. We were sad that the surgery closed what we got used to seeing, and we were happy to see what she kind of looks like. So, but she also had something fun on her when we. She had these bad boys on when we got her little arm restraints to help her keep those fingers out of her mouth. So they got this metal in the back that would go on her elbows so she couldn't bend them. Yep. So she got to wear those after surgery to keep those fingers out of her mouth, which is important because of all those stitches that were up on her face. So it was just fun. He brought brought her nose around to a circle and then sewed up everything to the right where the lip comes together. Was a little gorked after being in surgery, so we had to hold her a lot, gets lots of cuddles, and then later on that night, we had a visitor come in, and he was the pediatric dentist on her Cleft Palate team, and he brought in a special thing. We must have missed this conversation because I don't remember them talking about this, but he brought this in. Give me that piece. It's broke, but we'll show you kind of what this is supposed to look like. It must have got too much weight on it in her baby box. But anyway, he brought in this piece of like a plasticky, it's like retainer material. Oops, you can tell it's supposed to be like that. But anyway, he brought this in and it's like, here's the new top of her mouth. We're like, what? So it ended up being her palate. So he showed us how to put it in, and you just kind of put it in her mouth and slid it forward, and it kind of like locked in. And he's like, this is what she's going to use when she eats, and she can keep it in her mouth, and then you just have to take it out and wash it. We're like, oh, okay. But the other thing about this pediatric dentist, which kind of was like a hidden blessing, he was like, I'm going to tell you one thing. He's like, I really like it when the surgeons do the lip closure in 2 surgeries. And we were like, why? And he was like, because I think the results turn out better. And we were like, really? And so we're like, okay. It was more of like that calming thing of, oh, it's okay that she's going to have 3 surgeries in her first year because maybe things will look better than they would have if they would have only done it in 1. So that was kind of like a really nice. So after she got out of the hospital, we were only there overnight and we got to take her home. And she was like any other baby, was wanting to, she would have good finger grasp and pick things up and this or that. She wanted to learn to roll over, which she did. But unfortunately, when she rolled over, she hit her face on the ground and it was pretty sore and she didn't roll over for quite some time. When she did start rolling over again, she was actually sleeping in her crib at night because it was softer to land on, I guess. But anyway, this is kind of how she was progressing on us. Yep. Looking good after that surgery and everything's coming together and she's got that little nose. And so she continued to grow like any other baby. She began to eat solid foods. She also started to kind of babble, which was kind of nice to hear those sounds. Because that's one of the things they would always ask us is she making baby sounds yet? And yeah, she was. So as you can see, the first 3 months, this is kind of like the condensed version of everything that went on in the first 3 months. There was a lot of different experiences we had, which we might be able to share at another time. But we just wanted to get the gist of what happened from the time she was born to her first surgery. And that kind of is what happened. She just was like any other baby, really, other than she came to the world a little different with her cleft lip and palate. So we hope that you guys will continue to come back and learn more or remember what has happened to her and learn a little bit more about what she is going through as she's preparing for this surgery this summer. She is definitely the trooper, high pain tolerance in this girl. She can take just about anything. So as you can tell, we got more to share. So we hope that you come back often and look for more videos that will talk about Aubrie's story and be able to learn more about our family through her and the experiences we've had. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us at
cerealbarnstories@gmail.com.
Yes, so if you have any questions, feel free to email us. You can email her at the same email address if you have questions, because she's the one who's had to live through this. But we hope that you'll come back and watch us again. See you later.
Bye.